Good day there viewers, and welcome to my channel. My name is Cliff. I'm a gem cutter from Southern Australia, and in today's episode we're going to do something a little bit different by going on a field trip only a couple kilometres from where I live. We're going to be trekking up Mount Major, and we're going to have a look at some of the geological outcrops of greenstone and chert. At the end of the video I'll drop in some directions of how you can visit Dookie and climb Mount Major and have a really good time on this walking trail. So while me and my little buddy walk the trail till we get to the start of the climb of Mount Major, I would personally like to thank Tam and Lucy particularly for donating some money to help support my channel. So this money will certainly go a long way into buying some equipment I desperately needed and I had been putting off, and in fact it was a lifesaver, so thank you to both these ladies. Like many small YouTube creators, I'm thrust in the same position like them and many other people where I'm out of work for the next couple of months because of the world situation. And we make videos simply because we enjoy making videos and enjoy teaching people about our hobbies or our interests. So if you enjoy my channel and you have an interest in gems or geology, minerals, lapidary or even Australiana, then if you'd like to leave a small gift donation, that would be great. A small PayPal gift donation of $1 or $2 would be more than enough, or even less. I'll leave my email address in the description area, so you can use that if you want to donate money via PayPal to me. And if you can't afford it, that's also good. You know, I know a lot of people can't afford even $1 at the moment, and that's fine also. I know a lot of you guys are doing it tough and you still want to keep watching my videos, so I'll do the best I can to keep making videos. And as promised, this video was one that I would make, and I mentioned it a few weeks ago that I was going to do a field trip and pick up a little bit of chert and maybe find some greenstone. So the aim of this video was to show my subscribers a little bit about Australia. I know you guys love Australia, those people who live overseas. And also the aim was to get a little bit of carving rock, whether it would be chert or a bit of greenstone. And recently there's been a new Dremel available on the market, and it's a very small handheld Dremel, and it can be bought for about $90 Australian. So one day I'll get one of those. For the time being I'll be holding back, but it's a nice time to go out while the weather's not too hot and just get hold of a little bit of this carving rock material. So this rock carving material will not be picked up on top of Mount Major because this is protected land, and it is actually sacred land to the first Indigenous people of Australia. So we do want to pay respect to them by not destroying this lovely piece of nature, paradise. So this material will in fact be picked up just off the side of the road down below. And those people who are interested in rock carving and such, just knock on a farmer's door and ask whether you can have a piece of rock. They're likely to just either say yes or no. Most of them will say yes, and if you give them a couple of dollars for a nice piece of chert or greenstone, I think they'll be more than happy than allow you to have a piece to carve a rock out of. So here we are, we're not even halfway up the mountain, and we have a huge outcrop of chert and greenstone, and it's literally starting to just crack apart by nature itself, and it's just a beautiful spot. So in this outcrop here, it's more a lighter green, and one of the things you'll find in this district is that there are various colours of greens, from a real emerald colour to this lighter green as you can see here, and then of course you'll have greens with patterns, and I'll show you that later in the final reveal what they look like when they're cut up. So the height of Mount Major is 1,365 metres. It probably would take the average person 30 to 45 minutes to climb to the top. If you lack fitness, probably about an hour or so. It's pretty rocky in some sections and pretty steep, so you do need to be fairly careful because you do not want to lose your footing on a loose boulder, particularly coming down the mountain. Often you'll see wallabies and kangaroos, particularly in the morning and later towards the night, not so much during the middle of the day. And you will see quite a few eagles during the trek, so if you're a bird lover, there are plenty of birds to see. And once again, you know, if you be quiet and watch, you'll usually see some animal wildlife. The type of wildlife you do not want to encounter are snakes, and the brown snake is the most predominant in this district, and you do not want to come across one of those or disturb them, as they are one of Australia's fastest snakes and one of Australia's most venomous snakes, as they will kill a human being in 30 minutes. As it gets cooler, you won't see too many of them, and you won't see any in winter as they are cold-blooded and they become dormant. But on a really hot day, when it's 30 degrees or more, I wouldn't be walking through any shrub or jumping over any logs. So just stick to flat ground where you have good visibility and you'll be fine. This section of the mountain is about 3/4 of the way up, where there is an old riverbed waterfall which has been all eroded away after all these millions of years of rain and floods coming down the side of the mountain, and it's all solid greenstone, and it's a really interesting part of the tour in my opinion. If you ever come up Mount Major, have a look at this and you can walk down it. And once again, don't disturb anything, just leave the rocks as they are and the wildlife as they are. So this section of the mountain is a lot steeper and rockier and will be a little bit more draining, and you can tell by the dog, his tongue's hanging out. So make sure you bring a little bit of water when you go up, particularly on a really hot day. If it's cool, it's not too bad. If you're a tourist and you're in Australia and you're doing trekking and it's really hot, make sure you have plenty of water, but also bring some salt tablets. So many times tourists come to Australia, they drink gallons of water in the summer when they're trekking, then all of a sudden that water has depleted all the salt out of their body, and then they end up in all sorts of trouble. And that's not what you want. A lot of people don't know that when they're tourists here. They drink gallons of water but never take enough salt to accommodate the loss of salt as they start to sweat all that water out. So we're getting closer to the summit, and things change a little bit because you see different type of grasses and it starts to flatten out a lot more. So we've made it to the summit, and I'm zooming in to the little town of Dookie down below. So if you enjoy wildlife and the scenery and a little bit of trekking or hiking and geology, then you're going to really enjoy visiting Mount Major. Be respectful of the wildlife, and if you're into rock carving or rocks and collecting gems, remember to pick them up down below the base of the mountain. Get them from a farmer. You'll often pick them up just in the middle of the road, and that's a good place to pick them up from so cars don't run over them. But just be respectful of the environment. There is plenty for everyone, so just take what you need. Don't come in with a trailer load and go home with a trailer of rocks like they used to do in the old days. You only need what you can use, and usually that's just a handful or two. I don't know how we've done it, but we're no longer on the trail. But I've taken mental notes of landmarks and features as we're coming up, and it's really not too difficult to get down, so eventually we'll find a trail as we have done now. So we're back on track. Now if you get lost in Australia, that's one of the things. If you're a tourist, they keep trying to find a trail and then they get further and deeper and more lost in the bush or scrub. Eventually you're best off to just stop and sit, and hopefully search and rescue will find you. I always take mental notes of features, and I usually don't like trekking anywhere I'm not that familiar with. You know, if you're going to trek, go up in little sections and go back home, then go further the next day. Get used to the environment and landmarks. But also often people go on a trek, they know nothing about that area they're trekking in, and then they get off the beaten trail, and then there's a search party trying to look for them, and then they either don't make it, because people do die in the wilderness in Australia, or it might take them a week or two for the search party to find you. So if you're a tourist, you need to be really careful trekking in Australian wilderness. So we've come off a really steep rocky section of the mountain, and you do need to be careful because a lot of these rocks are right in the middle of a very small trail, and you will slip and bounce on them if you don't watch out and mind your step. But we've got another 15 minutes I think from the car park till we hit the base, and very soon my little furry friend, who's in the distance as you can see having a great time looking at something, goodness knows what, but he'll get real panicky soon, and then he'll start to tag my ankles. He'll start to think I'm going to leave him behind, and that's never happened before. Oh, here he is. He started doing it now, and this will go on for about 10 minutes or so. So we're getting closer to the main track, and this means we're getting closer to the end of another video, but we will have a final reveal, and I'll show you what I find down below. So I've picked up a couple of pieces of chert down below, and they both look a bit ordinary because the ground has ironstone in it, in the soil, so they're a bit stained, and they're both different colours, but when you slice them open, quite often they'll look like this, and they look just beautiful with the different textures of green and the lighter yellows, but they don't reveal that until you start to cut them open or carve them. So here are a couple of examples of two cabochons that I made a while ago, and I'm no expert in cabochons, that's for sure, but you can just see the colour variation between this one and the next one, as you can see here, and this one's particularly nice, the colour shades. So that's the local chert in this region around Mount Major. So on that note, I'll be closing. I'd just like to say thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe, and take care of yourselves during this time. So until next time, I'll see you around. It's bye for now.